This is Daily Blast Live. We're talking about what you're talking about. Real, honest, entertaining, live. DBL starts right now.
3, 2.
Welcome to DBL. It's Wednesday, April 28th. I'm Jeff here with my friends Stephanie and Erica. We got a lot to talk about, guys. Let's dive right in. Both look beautiful. Let's jump right in. Tristan Thompson is being accused of cheating on Khloe Kardashian. Again. They have been working on their relationship after rekindling their romance last summer, but now a woman is alleging she had an affair with Tristan. During a podcast, Instagram model Sydney Chase, there she is, admitted she hung out with Tristan in January while he was dating Khloe. She recently went on TikTok to confirm that rumor of an affair. Were they true? Let's watch.
We did have past relations. I then found out that he was in a relationship, and I ended things. We first met November 11th to be exact, and that's when everything started. And then the last time we had contact, besides when he messaged me after finding out about the interview, it was the day after his daughter's birthday party.
Who are those other two girls? We'll get to that
Why
later.
do they look like ghosts?
They look like bookends. Never mind. Tristan and Khloe haven't said anything about the scandal, but last night Khloe posted a quote on Instagram that said, "People who don't hesitate to share a kind word or do a good deed to brighten up someone else's day are the best kind of people." Okay, back to that video. Or what do we think about this scandal?
Yeah,
Do you believe it?
Erica was like,
When I saw that video, I almost didn't
so I was
believe
like, what
it.
does that mean?
I don't know why.
It hit unpopular opinion coming, right?
All right, 3, 2.
There are people who are in relationships who infidelity is not a deal breaker for them. Now, I understand that people feel very passionately about infidelity, and it's considered a sin. But a sin is a sin is a sin is a sin. And I'm just telling you, when you have a relationship and you see someone who's trying to make it work, then that's not their deal breaker in that moment. So I don't know why we all jumping up in arms. Like, what are we gonna do? Avenge for Khloe? Like, if she likes it, I love it.
If they do have that kind of relationship, she should just tell everybody, right?
I know, but maybe
wouldn't that be a little easier?
But maybe she doesn't have to.
Because then we're not doing the story. You're like, that's their relationship.
We're still doing the story, Jeff.
I guess you're right. It's a Kardashian.
Yeah, like even if Khloe did say we've got an open relationship, I mean, I think the floodgates would even open even more and it would get out of control. That's just me saying that, because I think women would then even beehive more for Tristan.
All right, what do we think about this girl? Because when you see the allegations, you're like, okay, maybe he cheated. He had a history of cheating. Then when I see this video, I don't know why I have some doubts. She's doing it. Look at there. I don't know why you're with other people. It's just something about it seems fishy to me. Am I the only one thinking that, or no?
No, it seems like she's clout chasing and she has two friends to clout chase with her. I mean, if you're a woman who accidentally got into a relationship with a man who was married or in a relationship, and it does happen, you know, it happens that you may not have known that they were in a relationship at the time. If you are really interested in doing the right thing, which is very subjective in that moment, then contact the woman. Do it directly. Why put it out in TikTok land?
Right.
There's only 1 degree of separation, not even that, because you're technically sisters at that point. So you could get in contact with Khloe is all I'm saying.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm sure this isn't the end of this story. We're going to hear more. All right. Robert De Niro is in the middle of a bitter divorce battle with his ex-wife, Grace Hightower. So the former couple filed for divorce back in 2018, but the actor has continued to support her until their prenup kicks in. His lawyer says De Niro can't keep up with her spending and cut her monthly credit card. Woe is me, from $375,000 to just under $100,000. This is in a month, but Grace says that's unfair. She should be able to live the lifestyle she had during their marriage. Now, De Niro's lawyer says the actor took roles in movies like Dirty Grandpa to pay for that lifestyle. He also owes more than $6 million in taxes and will use that money from his next 2 movies to pay off that debt. Wow. First of all, the tax thing is something totally separate. It has nothing to do with the wife.
Yes, it does.
Why? Just
it's not separate. You think, are your taxes separate from Jordan? So it has everything to do with the wife, too.
But they take taxes out of my paycheck. What do you mean?
But I'm saying your tax problems as a marital couple are y'all's tax problems.
But how do you get $6 million behind?
Because you weren't paying your taxes.
Yeah. Also, you can owe money, and also when you're self-employed, you have to do it at the end of the year, right? It's not like, so we are both employed by Tegna, right? So we get taken out of our paycheck every single month. Whereas if you're self-employed, you do it all at the end of the year.
Not necessarily.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So maybe he didn't have enough money. Maybe she spent it all. Maybe he had to ask for a
forget about the tax problem.
This feels a little robbing Peter to pay Paul.
Yeah, but what about the spending? Do we think this is justified? $375,000 in a month?
You've got to think they've lived a certain lifestyle.
Come on.
She has lived a certain lifestyle, and we've seen this with other really famous and rich people before too. And she's obviously got used to being accustomed to spending whatever she wants, whenever she wants. And obviously that pot is definitely running empty.
She bought a $1.2 million diamond. Should he have to pay for that? That's not fair. That's not living a lifestyle. That's crazy talk.
I mean, apparently she loves shopping, and she on average spends $215,000 a month on clothes.
$375,000 a month. It's insane.
It's not about the amount of money.
It sure is.
No, it's not. It's not, because you can't talk about that from your perspective, of course, but from their perspective, it's not about the amount of money. It's about what your decisions were as a marital couple. If you have $6 million in tax debt, that means y'all together are broke.
Because
so
she's spending $375,000 a month.
I understand that, Jeff, but I'm saying it's not about the actual quantity of the money. It's about the idea that you're living above your means. That could be $37 a month for some people. I always have an issue for any marital couple, anybody who enters into a union, especially when there's a disparity in funding. You're supposed to be a team. If one person on the team broke, y'all both broke. So they need to get their situation together so that there could be a realistic perspective of what is fair and reasonable. And right now, it's not fair and reasonable for anybody to be spending any money until y'all. You know who you owe money to? The IRS. They gonna get their money one way or the other. So I'm just simply saying that this is a team community effort. I'm not gonna get bogged down on $375 or less.
I am.
I'm just simply saying that nobody has any money until the IRS has their money, and that's where we're at.
Listen, maybe I'm taking this too close to home, but my wife shows up with a new painting and I don't know where it came from. I'm like, what's this thing all about? You know what I mean?
That's the reason why you should have open and honest conversations. Like, nobody should be coming in with anything.
And then how come when I mention it, I build up the courage and I'm like, where'd this new couch come from? All of a sudden she goes upstairs. And now I'm just like, well, I guess that wasn't the right question to ask.
Well, yeah, because it's y'all's couch. It's y'all's couch.
I'm gonna
have to take a side.
Did you sit on it?
I'm today, so I'm just loving this.
$375,000. We'd be so divorced. It wouldn't even be like it wouldn't even be a question.
He earns millions and millions and millions and millions and millions of dollars. Like, he does one movie.
$375,000. That's like Brewster's Millions. This is crazy.
That is a drop in the ocean.
No, it's
when he's
you guys.
when
Are we having
millions of dollars?
Did you guys call my wife before this segment or what?
Actually, Jeff, I agree with you.
Thank you.
But I'm simply saying that the numbers, it's not about the actual number, because that number means different things for different people.
I got you.
Yeah.
All right. That one hit a little too close to home. All right. Sorry about that. Kelly Ripa and Mark Consuelo say they're old-fashioned when it comes to marriage. I think they're like me in a way. The couple spoke on the Double Date podcast with Marlo Thomas and Phil Donahue and said despite being a progressive couple in many ways, they still hold traditional roles in their marriage. Totally different than what we just said. Have a listen.
When it comes to our own family and our marriages and our roles, I think of us as very traditional and almost old-fashioned in our roles.
Because why?
Because he's made it so that I've never had to leave home to work. I've been able to raise my kids here in this city, in the nest, and he's always been willing to travel and go to a set and go off here, and sometimes he's had to go live in another country.
All right, so this I can get on board with. This seems like a give and take relationship. It's more my speed. The last one was just take, okay? There was no giving.
Well, she's given some things too. Yeah. I'm sure they had a very I would bet money on it that they had a pretty traditional old-fashioned relationship.
My mind went somewhere else.
They clearly do, because he's the one bringing in the money and she's the one who's been looking after the house and spending it.
Let's stick with this couple now.
Yeah. Kelly Ripa was on Marriage Ref when me and my ex-husband were on, and we had this conversation about changing your last name because I refused to change mine. And she told me that while she goes by Ripa professionally, her legal name is Consuelos.
Oh.
Now, fast forward to the present day, because that's way in the past. I would say my husband and I have a very similar situation in terms of our marriage. But you have to have so much respect and in terms of boundaries and transparency in order for someone, especially an alpha female like Kelly and what I would consider myself to be, to really have that type of relationship where I trust you enough to really allow myself to take a backseat that I would not normally take. So it's very all open, but I do think that we do have a bit of a more traditional, old school relationship.
And you do, and you guys are both quote unquote bosses.
Right.
You know what I mean? And you
got a boss team.
Yeah, you are a boss team, and you're speaking the truth because I witnessed that, and you handle it well.
You too?
Yeah, I mean, maybe
you should be like, yeah, Yeah, you guys are.
Well, not since that last story, I feel like the accountant with the green hat. And I'm like, what did you spend on that? You know what I mean? So that's not a boss of anything. I'm the accountant.
It is a boss of the finances. You keeping things in check.
Obviously, I don't. Where did that painting come from? I don't know.
The painting and the couch?
Yeah, there's things showing up every day. Fake plants. What is this knick-knack? I don't even know how that got there.
Oh my God. Sorry.
Listen, I could do a whole show on that.
Yeah, I do love some fake plants, but I have been cut off from fake plants myself.
Oh yeah, Erica got out of control with the fake plants.
What's going on?
I wasn't allowed to bring another one in.
Anthony put a ban on the fake plants intake in the house.
I have like 60.
I bought a real one.
Yes,
to try
and I love it.
Real
We need to have
plants
like
in
a
the
little
house.
family therapist on the show and have a good talking to. All right, coming up on DBL, drama is brewing behind the scenes at The Talk. Will the daytime show be able to bounce back? And people are coming for the Biebs, my boy, because of his hair. Stephanie tells us, what up? You better be nice. That's next. And what up Wednesday, Steph? Oh, no.
I know.
Closed captioning provided by...
As most of the country eyes a return to normalcy after the COVID-19 pandemic, one change will be sticking around: virtual learning, at least for some students. Let's connect the dots. When coronavirus hit, the U.S. launched an unprecedented effort to teach all students remotely. The experiment was a struggle for many families and their students, but some kids did actually thrive. Teachers report the kids who did well tended to be the ones with social anxiety, attention deficit disorder, or autism. Now school districts across the country are establishing online-only schools for the next academic year. For most districts, this means standalone virtual schools with teachers dedicated to working only with remote students. But not all virtual schools are the same. Some require students to work online courses independently, with only occasional online interaction with a teacher. That model obviously benefits children who are comfortable setting their own pace. It also tends to work best if parents are actively involved in the process. Other models are more teacher-directed, where students attend traditional classes just in a virtual setting. There is one big downside to continued virtual learning: less social interaction. While some online programs do include extracurricular activities, experts say it is hard to replicate the seeing your friends face-to-face. Connecting the dots, I'm Cheryl Mercedes, KHOU 11 News.
Welcome back to DBL. I'm Stephanie Jones, here to dish the week's best celebrity gossip. Like, who's the 67-year-old who won't stop posting bikini pics? Well, it's only Christy Brinkley. And speaking of bikini bods, Margot Robbie breaks down her pre-Barbie body diet. It's What Up Wednesday. But first, we're heading over to Beverly Hills, where Justin Bieber is in the news. But this time, he may have to sing his hit song, Sorry, a little louder. The megastar is in a bit of hot water after showing off his dreadlocks on Instagram, a style that had fans up in arms when he donned the look first 5 years ago. Now, fans are asking why he's doubling down 5 years later, and they were quick to take to Twitter to speak out. One user said Justin needs to look into why dreadlocks are considered to be cultural appropriation, and if he educated himself on this topic, then he wouldn't be doing it. So here's what's up. Bieber isn't usually known to be tone deaf, but his fans are singing a different tune. So now it's up to the Biebs, unless he really does want to be lonely. Next, we're heading to Turks and Caicos, where Christy Brinkley is a beacon of body confidence. The model, now 67, if you can even believe it, says that she won't stop posting photos of herself in a bikini because, quote, if you've got great legs, then show them. But there's even more to it than that. She wants to inspire women to be proud of how they look, no matter what their age number. Here's what's up. If I look like Christy Brinkley at 67, then I'd never take off a bikini either. But let's be realistic. Not all of us age as gracefully as a Sports Illustrated swimsuit model. So maybe dial down the flaunt and focus on realistic figures instead. Finally, we're back in California to visit Margot Robbie, who's getting her body ready to become the one, the only Barbie. The once upon a time in Hollywood actress has been known and envied for her figure, but for her upcoming role as Barbie, she's cut out carbs completely and is sticking to a really strict diet. So she's opting for porridge for breakfast with a healthy smoothie to wash it down. For lunch, she favors chicken salad, and dinner is usually a tuna steak with some sweet potato. But there's one part of her routine I can absolutely get down with. Apparently, she's obsessed with a good cup of tea since her days of living in the UK. Here's what's up. Everyone knows that the Barbie doll body of the past is, well, highly unrealistic, but Margot definitely keeps it real. After all, she says her favourite meal is a double truffle cheeseburger. That sounds good to me. That's it for this week's What Up Wednesday. We'll be right back.
We all know that movement
There are many situations where fully vaccinated people do not need to wear a mask.
A big announcement from Rochelle Walensky, the director of the CDC, about what people can now do outside without these masks. So let's verify what you can and can't do once you're fully vaccinated, which is 2 weeks after your final shot. Let's start with outdoor exercise. Whether you're vaccinated or not, the CDC says it's okay to run, walk, or bike without a mask. But if you're still awaiting that shot, you're going to want to keep your distance. Okay, what about small outdoor gatherings like barbecues? Well, according to the CDC, if you're fully vaccinated, you won't need a mask, whether people there are vaccinated or not. Meanwhile, unvaccinated people will need to mask up when around other unvaccinated people outside of their circle. Now let's move on to my favorite thing. Food and outdoor dining. The CDC says those who are vaccinated are now safe to take off that mask when eating at an outdoor restaurant. As for unvaccinated people, the CDC is still not recommending that they eat outdoors at restaurants, although they say to wear a mask if they do. And what about the larger outdoor events like sports games or concerts? Under their new guidance, the CDC says that these events are safe for vaccinated people, although they'll still need to wear a mask. These outdoor events are not deemed safe for those who are still awaiting a shot. As for indoor events, the guidance remains the same. Wear these masks even if you're vaccinated.
Welcome back to DBL. More bad news for the talk. Ratings for the show have been way down ever since it went back on the air 2 weeks ago. It's now the lowest rated daytime TV show. Wow. In March, Sharon Osbourne left the show following a heated exchange with her co-host about race. Sharon was also accused of saying racist things about her former co-host. And earlier this week, Carrie-Ann Inaba, 8. Anyone get that reference? Announced that she would be taking a leave of absence from the show to focus on her well-being. Thanks for getting that joke, Erica. That was a Dancing with the Stars reference. Anybody?
Yes.
Sure, you don't get it at all. Anyways, back to the story. What do we think about that? The talk. I would think the ratings would go up because people want to see how it got along without Sharon Osbourne.
Well, I think in time it will. But I feel like, I mean, Sharon was a very big player. Let's be honest. She has a huge following. And even though I'm glad that she stepped away, well, told to go away.
Yes.
I'm trying to be nice with my words here. I think this is a chance for them to really reinvent it, freshen it up, change it up, to get a whole new viewership and make the most of some of the amazing talent that they've got on there that maybe they haven't been utilizing as much. Elaine Welteroth, I think she's absolutely fantastic. Yes. I adore her. I loved her before she was on this show. And I think there's like a whole new generation of people that want to see more content from people like that. And the days of Sharon Osbourne are gone.
So you think revamp is the answer?
I would say revamp.
Yes, yeah. I think right now we can't really know what direction it's going in. It is too early, as Steph just said. But I do think that Elaine is such a great example because Elaine has really changed the face of fashion, starting at a very young age with Teen Vogue for future influencers.
Mm-hmm.
So her voice and her presence is of the utmost importance. And I think you've seen this turnover on daytime television where certain demographics aren't represented. And this is an opportunity to do that. But I do think it's too early to tell because a lot of their first few shows had to do with the idea of smoothing things over, having these conversations. And by the time that happened, because they took such a long hiatus, people had already grown really fatigued of talking about it.
Well, you've got to think as well, when you have that much of a break, people are used to seeing you, or used to seeing those women in their homes every day. It becomes that they feel like their family, they're a part of it, and then all of a sudden it's gone. And it's like a relationship. You break up with them, you move on with your life. They've lost the audience. They've gone elsewhere.
So you think they'll make a comeback from being the lowest-rated daytime talk show on TV? You think they'll go up at some point?
We'll see.
We'll see.
I wasn't so confident. There. All right, guys, we'll be right back.
Promotional consideration is brought to you by
parents out there, my advice is this: listen more than you speak. Listen to your kids. Don't be reactive, don't judge, and just love them.
The Supreme Court gearing up for a free speech showdown today. Let's connect the dots. The courts will have to decide how much power public schools have and whether or not they can punish students for a social media post. One argument is that students shouldn't get in trouble for things they post on personal pages during non-school hours. But here's the problem. Some say that would open the door for students to post vulgar, cruel, or even racist things without getting in trouble. We're in new territory here. For decades, Supreme Court cases have supported students' free speech rights, but those decisions were before Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok. The outcome of the case could also impact how schools crack down on cyberbullying. And that is connecting the dots.
Welcome back to DBL. It's time for a security alert sponsored by LifeLock. Scammers are continuing to use COVID-19 to steal your data. Here are 3 scams to be aware of. First, fake post-vaccine surveys. Fake post-vaccine surveys. That's right. Look out for any text messages or emails promising cash or a prize for filling out a survey if you received a vaccine. Second, unemployment insurance. Anyone who has applied for this can be targeted with phony forms asking for your personal information. And lastly, the vaccine selfie. Don't post your card or let your kids or grandkids post their cards on social media unless the birth date and full name are covered. So when it comes to your financial assets, LifeLock is here to help. LifeLock keeps you and your digital identity secure from cyber criminals. Call 1-800-439-9017 or visit lifelock.com to learn more.
Wowza.
This is something we see all the time. Everyone's like, vaccine, and they'll post all their info.
And everyone's so happy that they've had it, and then they're showing their card. Didn't even think about that.
Yeah, that's a big one, because I see a lot of people posting that card.
Yeah, don't share anything. That's just safest.
Don't post. Don't post anything. There you go. DBL is new every day. We'll see you guys tomorrow. Happy Wednesday. Hump day, everybody.